Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Each episode, you'll dive into conversations with top entrepreneurs, visionaries, and business leaders, unlocking the secrets to building profitable relationships that drive growth and success. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
All right, gang. Welcome back to Partnership for Profits. Another great episode today. Got a really cool guest today. We got Rich Godshall, attorney in Philadelphia, who is the owner and managing partner of Ostroff, Godshall Injury and Accident Lawyers, who is soon to be OG Lawyers, which I love. We were just talking about that. We're going to get into that. It's a PI firm up in Philly. You guys handle over 700 personal injury cases. You got lots of years of experience. Want to get into your story, your background, how you got into this area of law. And then we're going to talk a little bit about marketing and branding and some stuff that they have going on there at the firm. Rich, thanks so much for coming on with us today, man. Glad to have you.
No, I appreciate it, man. I look forward to it. It's nice seeing
you. You too, man. So let's talk a little bit. I was looking at your bio and saw in there that your dad suffered, was he injured at work? Is that what it was? No, just I don't know what the injury was.
Injured at work.
He was injured at work, got turned away by a lot of law firms for his case. And it sounds like that kind of inspired you to get into law. Can you talk to me a little bit about watching your dad get turned away by the legal system that you're kind of fighting now every day?
Yeah, so my dad's a blue-collar construction worker, sheet metal. Whole family, both sides, electricians, plumbers, all union guys. And my dad fell off a scaffold when I was first year of law school, and really bad injuries that left him with permanent disability and inability to go back to work as a union carpenter. And the story I tell is, obviously I remember the call, I remember him getting hurt. And literally this happened in January. So I just started my second semester of law school. So you know nothing, right? But a couple of his friends had mentioned some lawyers. So I got involved. He's still in the hospital, and just talking through the process. And my dad's blue collar construction guy, and, doing his best to explain what's going on. And, there's some emotion to it, right? Like, he's not back to work. He's got 2 kids. He's not getting a paycheck. So you can imagine that dynamic and that anxiety. And I remember the first couple lawyers, man, just, I described it as like talking down, right? They weren't listening. They obviously didn't understand the complexity of a construction case. The one lawyer told me he didn't have a case. The second lawyer really just never called him back. And I just remember how he felt. Ultimately, his business agent got involved and gave him a card for a very reputable lawyer. And then once that lawyer got involved, everything changed, right? My dad was, I don't want to use the word calm, but he knew he had somebody that knew what they were doing. And, but that was, it was a 4 or 5 month process for us to get to that point.
Just to get a lawyer.
To get a lawyer that understood and that knew what they were doing, that had the funds and the resources available to get involved in a higher level case against some really big construction companies. And that once we had that, it did change. It changed his temperament and allowed him to go back to, getting better. But it was a firsthand experience for me that you take somebody, first you hurt them, right? And then 2, you take them out of work. And what that does to people, right? I mean, you're laid up and don't have income coming in and have a family. It causes a level of anxiety that I don't think people really understand until they're living it, right? And then when you're in that situation, you got to find folks that can help, that have been there, that have the ability to get involved and take some of the burdens off of you. And once we got to that stage, it was something I really looked up to his lawyers. And I actually still talk to them to this day and do work with one of the firms. That's how highly I still respect them.
That's awesome. So when you were first year law student, when this terrible thing happened, were you planning on doing personal injury law? Or was that what you were going in thinking you wanted to do, or did you have a different specialty you were thinking?
I didn't even know what personal injury was, right? I ultimately started my career as a defense lawyer. And in retrospect, I think it has really provided me a perspective that that I'm glad I did it. But no, at that point in time, I was just more. I had a dad that was hurt and needed help, and we were trying to figure things out. And as an aside, I was my third or fourth month of law school. But I that, you know what I mean? It was almost that level of knowledge almost hurt me in the process, to be honest with you.
Did that experience though kind of push you into the area of law that you practice now? Was that a big deciding factor of like, this is what I want to do?
100%, man. So what's interesting is my first 7 or 8 years, I was a defense lawyer, and all I did primarily was represent construction companies. So I was, not against where my dad was, but I represented the big companies in construction losses, and really allowed me the experience on that side of the equation to handle big cases, to work with high-end insurance companies and carriers and adjusters and all those things, and really understand how they evaluate cases, how they resolve cases. Was a partner at that firm, and things were going well, but it ultimately wasn't what I wanted to do for a living. I 5 or 6 years into my career, when I understood what personal injury law was, when I understood the difference between what a PI lawyer does as opposed to a defense lawyer, it was something I really wanted to do. And I still feel like it took me like a year or two longer than I would have liked to kind of make the switch. But ultimately it worked out great, man. I turned down a couple of the bigger plaintiffs firms in the city because I just didn't want to be that third or fourth guy in line. I met John Ostroff, back in like 2013, small firm back then. He was more of a marketer and a business owner, and he was looking for a litigator. So I took the leap over with him. And in the last like 10 or 12 years, man, we've grown this thing, and he's since retired, and I bought it from him. And, so it all works out. But right now, just all personal injury, and just going from there, man.
Are you still practicing, or are you kind of in that business owner seat?
It's a great question. This is my third year of the buyout. And just relative to kind of the financial risk at issue, I'm wearing both hats still. I am running the firm and still handling the biggest cases. But as we continue to grow this out and I build our team, I want to have a legitimate C-level, executive level team that runs the firm, that reports to me where necessary, and then I still handle the biggest 30 or 40 cases in the firm, plus train the younger lawyers. So I still want to be a litigator, and I think that's what separates me as I sit down with some clients.
That's awesome, because we work with a lot of lawyers, and this is not a fault of those attorneys that own their own firm, but a lot of them, what they're looking to do is they want to get out of the seat of practicing and running, and they want to get into the seat of running their business. So I don't know that I've actually heard anybody else kind of put it the way you just put it, that you want to put people in position to run the firm for you, so you can still do the stuff that still litigate, which is that's cool, refreshing.
I think it separates people too, right? The guy that's names on the door is the guy that's going to handle your case and has a firm set up in a way that runs without him or her doing the business part. I think people find that compelling, and we've had some success bringing in some really material cases with them understanding that, I'm a business owner, right? But I'm a trial guy, and that's what I want to do, and that's how I want this firm to kind of support me. And I do think, I do think that it is maybe different from what a lot of people are doing now in this space.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, and we'll get into marketing here in a little bit, but I mean, when that, I mean, you could do it now, or the marketing could be that a lot of times when you see a television commercial, and I know you said you got a new commercial spot coming out, but when you see a commercial for an attorney, whether it's on social media, whether it's on television, whether it's on the radio, you hear from the guy who's the face of that firm, but he's more than likely not going to be the guy who's taking your case. And I know that you may not take may not actually be trying the case for them, but you are taking on cases. Are you utilizing that in the marketing that you guys put out there? Is that is that messaging that you're trying to make sure people understand?
Yes, we're not there yet in kind of the kind of the plan we're trying to roll out, but
Right.
certainly more when we're face to face with clients with opportunities and talking with them with some of the larger cases where people are looking at various firms, right, and doing their homework in those settings, clearly making it known.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about marketing. And what you guys have going on. I know you mentioned that you have a new commercial coming out soon. I think maybe you said are you shooting one? Did you shoot it or is it already shot?
It's shot and we're just finalizing it with some stuff. Yeah.
So, and you mentioned that you're looking at maybe the name change for the firm, kind of a branding change. OG Law, which is from a marketer's perspective, it's a fantastic name for a law firm. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys are doing there and kind of what the thought process was behind kind of the branding strategy change.
Yeah. So I'm proud of this and I'm optimistic. Part of as we built this plan over the next couple of years, I wanted, I think in our market, there's obviously a lot of lawyers, right? But I think we can compete. I know we're good enough. So I do want to continue and start building a brand. A lot of our success early was digital, where you really didn't need a brand. You just needed a digital presence in different environments. Well, that's just as competitive as everything else. So one of my goals was to build a brand and compete with the big guys, right? And one of the ways I wanted to do that was first internally to build a team. And around that team have systems in place really to crush it for people. And what I wanted to get away from was a name, right? I don't want to hire, whether it's my CMO, my executive director, a 10 or 12-year lawyer that's really going to do good work for us. I don't want to hire them and put my name on their t-shirt, right? I just don't, not that I don't know if they can really be proud of wearing my name, right? So I wanted to build something that's a logo, right? And a brand that is theirs just as much as mine, right? And whether that's a client, whether that's an employee, whether that's a client's spouse. So I look at it like OG Law being a brand that, OG Law is not Rich Godshall. It's my 50 employees that work with me. It's my 1,000 clients and their family, like to build it out that way. So somebody proudly wears, I know this maybe is a weird dynamic, but like if people play golf, they love the logo of their club they play, right?
Sure.
Like that idea that it's a logo and it's a brand. It's not a person. I don't want people wearing Rich Godshall shirts.
And I think that's a really, again, a refreshing take on it, kind of looking at it, because what I hear you saying in my mind, I'm thinking that gives a different level of I don't want to say ownership, but like buy-in to the firm,
That's a great
right?
way.
So that's a really interesting way to kind of look at that, and again, the name is just, that's an outstanding. It's such a, like, there's so much you can do on the marketing end as far as just the term OG, right? So and I know those are the initials of you and your
right
your partner, but it just it works out really well. That's there's a lot of opportunity there for you guys as far as that the branding.
Yeah, so we bought oglaw.com. So that's the
that wasn't taken. That
we bought it from somebody. Yeah, we had to negotiate. Yeah, it's not one that you got on GoDaddy for $1. No, we had to negotiate.
I can imagine.
We do have that domain, and then we bought 888 OG Lawyers, the phone number. So just building around those things, and going from there. And I do think I think people remember it. I think there's certainly marketing plays around it, but I think it's also just an easy, cool logo that you look at, and hopefully people start identifying us with it.
I won't forget it, man. That's the greatest name I've heard in so long. I love it. It's fantastic. So what do you guys do? You got the television going on. You said got a new commercial spot coming on. Are you guys using social media? You utilizing social media for branding as well? And what are some things you found that have worked well for you guys in the
so a couple things. We're trying to start grassroots and grow from there. So obviously we still have a really big digital presence. Both I have 8 or 9 offices across the state of Pennsylvania. So different offices that help me with organic reach on Google. And and trying to be local to a lot of people around the state. And we actually have real offices with real people and real conference rooms, and things like that help us. Things like for Norristown area school district, we're having a big backpack drive in August, where families need some assistance with backpacking supplies. We're having a big cookout, DJ giveaway type thing, plus these backpacks. So we're doing that in Norristown, and we want to do like a turkey thing for the holidays in another one of our locations. So things like that, grassroots. Because I do think another way to battle some of these bigger firms that may have money but really don't have boots to the ground. I think that's a good way to meet people. Another thing we're doing is really paying attention to current and former clients, right? Because current and former clients may need assistance or obviously may know people. So really, we have an app now that if you're a current client, it keeps you up to date on your case, you're interacting.
That's killer.
And also, if you're a former client, you have that, and you're getting different things from us, newsletters, things like that, different type of packages, and just touching those folks that we have hopefully done good work for in the past and reminding them. And then the third thing is we have gotten into the TV space. And one of the first messages was about me and my dad and his story and me changing from defense work. The story I told you when we first started talking, that was our first commercial. And then a couple more, just more generic law firm type things. And it was a good start. I'd never done it. I was very nervous. And obviously, again, you're jumping into a pretty big pond, and I'm a pretty small fish relative to dollars. So we were really thinking of a way to come up with an idea that is different than what you see normally, right? You know, hey, I got this big check, or I ate this insurance company for breakfast. Like, away from that stuff and more branding and authentic, and maybe even a little bit that makes people laugh a little bit and remember us. And then once we hit that, then go back to my story with my dad, right? So, and then so that's kind of the idea that we're doing. And we shot that commercial, and it's going to start airing in August. And the idea of it is and it's produced, like, we did a nice job with a production standpoint. It looks like real. And the idea is I come across a crash scene, and the gentleman that was in the crash recognizes me, and they get in the ambulance, and the ambulance chases me because they want to hire me as the lawyer.
Hire you? That's creative. I like that a lot.
And again, it's very outside, man. You know, you and I don't know each other that well, but like, that's outside of my comfort zone. But it is well done. It's not sloppy. And I'm hoping people look at it and maybe smile a little bit, and just bring it as a way to remember us. And then from there, build off that with some more homegrown stories and lawyer talent type things.
I love hearing that, because we work primarily with law firms. That's like the majority of our clients that we work with in our business are other lawyers, and a big part of what we struggle with, not really struggle with, but the challenge for us a lot of times with our clients is to get them out of their comfort zone. And we typically find that when we do push them out of it, once it's all said and done, everyone's way happier. Everyone feels good about what's been put down, and the clients generally feel like, oh, I didn't realize I could do this. Did you have that feeling? You said you stepped out of your comfort zone to do that commercial. How did you feel walking away? Did you feel like, oh yeah, okay, I didn't realize I had this in me? Or like, what was the
No, it was,
I wrapped it up.
One, you see how good people that do that production, how talented they are, and people that do that stuff for a living is unbelievable. But no, I had fun with it. But it's still nerve-wracking for me to put it out there, right? Because there's this persona that I'm supposed to, like, be tough and always wear a tie and have a suit, and we're angry at everybody. So trying to step outside that and be more authentic. It's nerve-wracking, because I think some people will look at it and they maybe, won't think it's any good, or think because I went outside the comfort zone that I'm not doing something right. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's that to it. But I think if we can do this and get it out there, and then also influx stories about me, the firm, our successes. I think those two tied together hopefully give us a real chance to take off, man.
I agree. If you're consistent with the messaging, you can kind of combine those two things really well. It's going to work for you. It will. So love hearing that you kind of took that leap. That's really cool. You talked about community engagement, which I agree is a huge thing for local law firms to be doing. Applaud you guys for doing that. I think it's awesome. I also think it's great for marketing, in an ulterior way, but not in a negative sense. Because obviously helping out the community is a great thing to be doing, but there are advantages for you as well. So, because those people, they tie in, OG law, OG with doing this great stuff for the community. What tell me in your head, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What makes like a Philly lawyer different from a national lawyer who might just have an office in Philadelphia? What's the difference, and what's the advantage of working with somebody who's local and been in the community for a while versus those bigger boys?
Yeah, I mean, I think one, it's footprint, right? I think two, it's knowing where you are and knowing the messaging of what a jury is going to hear and understand. And I also think there's a credibility to it, right? Like if you are trying a case and that jury knows my office is 6-7 miles away, or knows about what we do for the community and understands that, we present only certain cases in front of a jury. I think all those things together give my firm just a credibility as to, we're here for a reason. You need to take this seriously. You need to understand that what we're talking about is very, very important. And I don't think people from outside can provide that. I really don't. They can provide a name, but there's much more to it when you're trying really, really big, important cases. And I think where you're trying those cases and living with those communities matter.
So I feel like there's kind of I'm in the Atlanta area, and I feel like there's even down here, or whether you're in Philly or whether you're in Los Angeles or wherever you might be, there's kind of a local language that local people speak. And if you're dealing with people that are local, you kind of speak their language. And I think that, I don't know, in my mind, as an attorney, you probably are going to end up with a better outcome for the case because you're going to have better communication. You're going to understand each other better. Just all that to me would play into, wanting to, if I'm in an accident, I'm going to want to hire someone who's
No, I mean,
community.
It's well said, man. I just, a medical malpractice case we tried about, I don't know, 9 months ago, got a really good verdict for the client, up in Clarion County, which is one of the outer counties in Pennsylvania. And I'm not local to Clarion, but I'm, not far, obviously. Where they brought in the defense firm was not local. And, we tried the case in an old YMCA because the courthouse was being renovated, right?
Wow.
So you try this, this colon cancer case that's worth multiple 7 figures in a YMCA auditorium, right? And, so there was a makeshift parking lot, makeshift security. And, I'm there, I get there early and I park right in the front, and I'm drinking coffee with the sheriff every morning, right? And, juries see that, the judge sees that, the judge's staff sees that. Meanwhile, the defense firm, they're parking in the back of the parking lot. Every day they're bringing in their 15 boxes and their heads down. They're not talking. Like, all those things from an engaging standpoint matter.
100%.
And to your point, you need to do that authentically, right? Because everything you do has to be authentic, because if it's fake, you're done. To do that authentically, exactly what you said, you need to understand that language, right? And what those good folks are looking for in a lawyer, right? Because PI, has a stereotype, right? And me saying, and my new commercial fits right into that stereotype, right? But me saying I'm not that isn't going to change anybody's mind, right? You have to authentically show them without showing them why you're not that. And I think part of being local gives you an opportunity to do that more naturally and authentically. And I really believe that. And if I could find that sheriff for you, or find that jury or that judge, I think they would echo that. They really would.
I agree. And I think that ties back into the personal branding message, right? I think that part of that personal branding is letting your community know, like, hey, I'm one of you. I'm from your backyard. I'm here in the city. I've been here. This is my spot. I care about you and I care about this city. So you can kind of tie all that in together and include that in your messaging. And you know, it sounds like you guys are definitely on the right track. Definitely. We got a few more minutes left here, Rich. I want to ask you, if you're cool, I want to ask you a couple of Philly related questions. Just about the city in general, because not all our audience is going to be based in Philly. Our audience is all over the place.
Yeah.
What's the word? John, is that
Yeah.
the word? What is? Tell me. You got to explain that to me. It has lots of different meanings, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's what it is. It means anything.
It means anything. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not the best. Yeah, I'm not this. Yes, but I think it. Not that I think I know it. People use it subjectively for whatever they're talking about.
Okay. So I'm trying to think of what that might what the correlation might be, like where I'm from in the South, what might work for us as a kind of a similar word. We got the motion sensor on, no worries. I've heard it a lot. I hear people say, you hear it in pop culture, John.
And it's also like just the way we pronounce words too. Like it's a play on that as well. Like I say water. Is that how you say it?
I say water.
Right. So it's how we pronounce words. And like the Schuylkill Expressway, like which is most people can't pronounce and nobody can spell. So it's just a play on some of our more local things like that.
That ties back into speaking the language, right?
Right.
Speaking
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, I tried. I'll say this real fast. Harrisburg, it's I forget 581, and it's called 581. But if you look on a map, it's like US 87 or whatever, right? And the defense lawyer was calling it like the US, and they're like, "What? Where's that road?" And I stood up. I said, "He's talking about the road out back, I-81." He's like, "Oh." But to your point, like and that stuff is not. It's just basic stuff that you just wouldn't know unless you're there, right? Like,
it's important to people when they hear it. They're like, "Oh, he's local. This guy knows,
right.
Speaks the language." That's great. I love that, man. I love it. So what's we're up there. We're up there shooting pretty much once a month. But none of us are from Philly. Where should cheesesteaks? What's the best spot to get a cheesesteak in Philly for you?
Well, everybody talks about Pat's and Geno's, right?
Not Pat and Geno's, right? That's where you don't want to go.
I mean, it's cool. Like it's worth the trip if you had. So Roxborough, Manayunk area, there's a place called D'Alessandro's. We actually just went to the Phillies game last weekend, and my family and I stopped on the way back. And it's awesome. It's awesome. There's a rumor that, God, it's been around for, I don't know, 75 years, that they never had the recipe, and then the husband died, and then the wife had it, and she wound up dying suddenly, and nobody in the family could find the recipe, and that it has since changed in the last 15 or 20 years. I don't know if that's true. It's still like still no folklore, but yeah, D'Alessandro's in the Manayunk area.
D'Alessandro's, all right. I'll have to remember that next time we're up. We'll check it out for sure. I haven't been up in a while, but we've got our crew that comes up there monthly, so I'll make sure to let them know where they need to go. I did tell our guy the first time we went up there, I told him, I said, don't go to Geno's and don't go to Pat's if you want to get a cheesesteak.
No, it's cool to say you did it, but they're much better.
That's for tourists. You want to go where the locals go, for sure. 100%. This was awesome, Rich. I really appreciate you giving me some time today, man. Really enjoyed hearing the stories and kind of hearing about what you guys have going on and what's happening in the future for you guys. I think things are looking bright for you guys here and the things you got planned. I'm gonna bookmark OG-Law. Is it OG-Law.com? Is that what you bought? I'm gonna bookmark that so when it's live, I can check it out. So I'm excited.
I appreciate it, man. I had a lot of fun, man. I hope I was helpful and we had a good time.
Yeah, man. So before that site goes live, let the folks know. We got some people watching live, but we also got people who will watch this after the fact. Let people know where they can find you guys if they need help, if they've been injured, how to contact you guys.
It's up. OG Law is up. It's connected to our main site right now, so it'll redirect you, but it works. So Rich Godshall, OGLaw.com, or call us at 888-OG-Lawyers. All
right, man. Very good. Appreciate you giving me some time today, Rich. Appreciate you guys watching today. And if you're watching after the fact, watching the recording, appreciate you guys checking out the show. We got some more episodes coming up this week. And if you need help with your digital marketing, video production, anything like that, make sure you contact LeDuc Entertainment. We can take care of you. We'll get you taken care of. So thanks for watching today. and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.